Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Byron, and my topic for the Teacher as a Researcher project was socialization in young children. I chose this topic after being assigned to my mentor teacher's class. While in there, I noticed that there was one particular child who was not socializing with the other students. I asked the mentor teacher about this child and was told that he was not very social. He didn't have a lot of friends in the classroom. He was very much a loner. She had also taught him last year in kindergarten, and when she moved up to first grade, he was in her class again this year. So the questions I posed for this project was, one, why is the child having problems socializing with his classmates? And two, how can he be engaged and make social connections so he doesn't become isolated? I read some peer-reviewed articles on socialization in young children to help me with the project. The articles were helpful, as well as the text that we had for the class, as well as other source materials that I picked up from the UHCL library with regards to socialization in young children, and a couple of books on autism as well. The child that I did my project on is 7 years old, and he's in first grade. He attends a public elementary school, and his ethnicity is Caucasian. And when studying the school report card for the 2015-2016 year, based on enrollment, 22% of the students were considered economically disadvantaged. The ethnicity for the majority of the campus was Caucasian at 33.8%, followed by Hispanic at 22.4%, and Asian at 20.4%. For this project, I was an active participant observer in somebody else's class. I worked with the children while I was there during various class activities and lessons. I sat and observed as well. I was also able to collect my data by observing in the classroom during recess, and by constructing a sociogram of the class, and also during stations and computer time, when the children were either interacting or they were solo. I also did a small informal interview with the child during recess one day when he was sitting alone, not playing with any of the other students. A sociogram was really helpful because it helped me to determine where he fell in the social network of the classroom, and I collected my data throughout my duration in the classroom. During my time there, I found that he really was not a social child. He mentioned only having one friend in the class, which was another female student. He said he had another friend in another classroom, also in first grade. I think my mentor teacher said that they were friends in first grade, but they were split up this year. At recess, most of the days, he just wanders around the playground. He doesn't fully engage with any of the other students. He'll sit and he'll watch while everybody interacts. He doesn't actively participate. His older sister comes out during recess time, like 15 minutes into his recess, and he'll interact with her, but sometimes he won't even interact with his sister. He'll just sit there. He appears to have difficulty forming friendships with his fellow students. He doesn't interact with them, and this kind of prevents the other students from getting to know him and wanting to play with him and wanting to include him in their activities. One day he was sitting alone at a table with a female student, and apparently she irritated him, so he had to be moved to another table. Apparently she was talking too loud and picking on him, was his reasoning for the teacher to move him. Since he's been moved, he's formed another friendship with another male child in the class. This particular child has behavioral issues. He doesn't really listen to the teacher. He doesn't follow directions. He doesn't stay on task. I'm not sure how much that particular friendship should be encouraged, but at this point, any kind of friendship or kind of connection for him would be positive. So I also found out that this particular child suffers from grand mal seizures. He'd had one prior to one of my observations one day, so I couldn't observe him while I was there. He does take medications for it, and at one point he was shaking when he was trying to to do his writing. I think it's because they increased the dosage of his medication to lessen the event that he has a seizure while at school. I've been in the classroom for a couple of months and have yet to see him smile. He every once in a while, I think he's going to smile, but he doesn't show any kind of positive emotion. He's very straight faced. He doesn't. It's kind of like he's just there. Doesn't really connect. He uses an incline board as part of his ARD to assist with his writing, and he still uses fingers to properly space his words, kind of like they do in kindergarten. It's my opinion that he may become isolated if he doesn't form some kind of social interaction with his other students. He needs that social connection. Students who become isolated become resentful towards their fellow, and that's not positive. He's so young. I would hope that in the future that his teachers would hopefully buddy him up with another student to hopefully get some kind of social interaction with him, and so he can form some kind of friendships. Children need this type of connection not only to function in school, but to function as adults later in life. They need to learn to make these social connections to others and not just to family members. This helps them develop empathy, social skills, and emotional development. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed this class, and I hope you'll have a good semester. Bye.